Your Royal Highness, Princess Sonamdichin Wangchuk, thank you for blessing us with your wisdom. And Your Royal Highness, thank you for launching the Wisdom Center for Justice. This center is going to be extremely important on our journey towards a developed Bhutan, and more specifically towards the realization of a royal vision that is the Gelifu Mindfulness Project and the Diamond Strategy. The Wisdom Center for Justice, involving all the relevant players of the justice sector, is going to play a very important role in the Diamond Strategy in terms of creating a legal system that is robust and responsive in line with His Majesty's royal vision. Your Royal Highness, I'd like to offer my deepest gratitude for establishing the Jimmy Singh Wangchuk School of Law. This is Your Royal Highness's personal initiative. It is your brainchild, and it is a great, great gift to Bhutan and our future generations. As founding president, Your Royal Highness has already made a huge impact in all spheres of the justice sector, most notably in instilling trust and confidence in our people, in our judicial system. I'd like to take a moment to thank the Government of India for providing much needed assistance for building this very important institution, the GSW School of Law. Your Royal Highness, thank you for commanding me to attend the second Paro Forum. This forum is indeed extremely important, provides an extremely important platform for dialogue, innovation, and action. Delegates, my dear friends, thank you for taking part in this very important forum. I know some of you have come from great distances. I hope you find some time to enjoy Bhutan. I know some of you are returning as friends. I hope you have time while doing business, while taking part in this very important forum. I hope you will have the time to reconnect with your friends. Those who are here for the first time, please, please enjoy Bhutan and start making lifelong friends in Bhutan. So last night, we were working on my statement, and we worked well into the night. And I was quite pleased with what we had crafted. And this morning, while flying into Paro, I had the opportunity of going through my statement. I was very pleased with what we had come up. And then we started entering Bhutan, and we saw the magnificent mountains, the snow-capped mountains. We could see a few of the glaciers, then there were clouds. Many of our higher mountains and ridges even had snow on them. And then the plane, as it was trying to look for a path into Paro, I was overcome with emotion. Looking at our magnificent mountains, our glaciers, our snow-capped mountains, thinking of the rivers and how this whole mountain system gives life to 240 human beings living in the Himalayas. And not just that, 1.6 billion people living downstream of the Himalayas. I was overcome with emotion, and my mind started racing about today's forum. And as I started thinking about water and the importance of water, it struck me that water is one of the few naturally occurring compounds that is not naturally destructible. It takes a tremendous amount of energy to split the hydrogen and oxygen atoms that form water. Water, while it is an essence of life, the cycle of water we study in our geography classes, all of you would remember the diagram of the sea and the water rising, evaporating, turning into clouds and moving into inland, and then reaching up mountains and then turning into rain, springs and rivers, and then back into the ocean. That is the cycle of water that we are taught. But in reality, water nurtures life, nourishes life, gives life. Whether it's human beings or animal, plants or insects, one cannot survive with water. And the beauty of water is, having given life, it just disengages and continues as water. It does not change its structure. Water remains water. And as I thought of this cycle of life, the cycle of water, I decided to take a few of my points on my phone, and I decided that I'll speak from the heart rather than from my script. So I was in Delhi the last 2 days, and what struck me is the amount of water that was served. And all the water that was served was Bhutanese water. Not because we had a Bhutanese delegation, they really didn't care about that. It was because they chose to serve the best water. It was Veen. And in the hotel I was staying in, and then in the conference center we went to, they just kept serving Veen. And it occurred to me that we were exporting water. Something very simple. We are just bottling it, exporting it to India. And the business houses are making an exorbitant amount of money from our water. At first thought, I thought that it's just water. We're just bottling it and selling it. That's not very productive. How can our economy grow? I mean, we have other things to sell. Energy, minerals, agricultural product. And then I suddenly realized that what we are selling is the essence of life. What we are exporting is nothing short than the pure essence of life. And then it made a lot more value to me. This essence of life, this bottle of Veen, comes from glaciers in our mountains. 700 glaciers, giving birth to 567 glacial lakes, which flow into multitude of streams that flow into 5 major river systems and 5 minor river systems. Countless springs, water sources, altogether 7,399 water sources. We may be a small country, but we are a rich country when it comes to water. Annually, our water systems generate 72 million cubic meters of water. This is huge, given the size of our country. And on a per capita basis, we have 95,000 cubic meters of water per person every year. This is one of the highest in the world. What are we going to do about this? Veen has decided to tap the water. They've shown us the way. Our farmers use water from those many springs to cultivate our land and farm like in our traditional ways. Hydropower, the 72 million cubic meters of water annually have the potential to generate more than 30,000 megawatts of electricity every year. Today we are generating only 3,500 megawatts of electricity. We have much more that we can do, all because of water. And yes, we can export water. Bottled water, drinking water, we can export the essence of life. As soon as I landed in Paro and I got connected to the internet, I did some research. Last year, bottled water, globally, the business was 350 billion. By 2033, it is estimated it's going to grow to $700 billion. We can take part in this because we have access to some of the world's best and cleanest, pristine drinking water. And we have, as our friend and neighbor India, with 1.4 billion people as potential customers. But it's not just drinking water. We need water for agriculture. Very soon, in a couple of days, in Guwahati, in Advantage, Assam, the Assam government, the government of India and Bhutan will be signing some memorandum of agreement. One is to jointly build hydropower projects to export electricity to Assam. The other is to channel Bhutanese water to Assam for agricultural purposes. The importance of water is real, it is immediate, and our neighborhood is already working in partnership with us to act on it. However, we have to understand how we got here, why we enjoy such a rich resource. And as Your Royal Highness commanded, it is ultimately because of enlightened leadership. Our kings had foregone immediate benefit for future benefits of Bhutan. Our kings, our enlightened monarchs, were ahead of the time. Today, our constitution is one of the only, it is the only constitution that mandates that a certain portion of the country must be under, land must be under forest cover, 60%. And in reality, it is 70%. 70% of our country is under forest cover. More than 50% is protected as wildlife sanctuaries and national parks, nature reserves. These are biological hotspots in addition to being healthy watersheds. In 2016, in Paris, Bhutan pledged to remain carbon neutral and set an example to many countries. And most recently, we formed an alliance in Baku at COP29, an alliance among 4 carbon neutral countries, Panama, Madagascar, Suriname, and Bhutan, an alliance called G0. We hope that this will inspire many other countries to work towards carbon neutrality. All this is a result of enlightened leadership, of His Majesty the Great Fort's wisdom and action, and that of His Majesty the King. As we go forward, Your Royal Highness, we take comfort and we have confidence that in terms of laws and legislations, rules and regulations, in terms of justice, we will not only have it right, but we will go from strength to strength with the GSW School of Law and with the Wisdom Center for Justice that Your Royal Highness just launched. But our resource, our most precious resource, is under threat. Climate change is threatening the viability and the management of the essence of life. The world over, but especially in the Himalayas and especially in Bhutan. The world over, because global warming and climate change is going to affect weather patterns and water flows. in the Himalayas because the mountains are the most vulnerable. And especially in Bhutan, because Bhutan, we have preserved our natural environment. We have conserved and protected our natural environment. This is why our watersheds are so healthy. But we are the most vulnerable because with a warming planet, with climate change, with melting glaciers, with the risk of glacial lake outburst floods, our water flows are going to be no longer as sustainable as they should be, while also creating great threats to lives and livelihood. But we are the most vulnerable. Of the 7,399 springs and water sources that we have in Bhutan, almost 69 have already died. I don't say dried, I say died. What's more, 1,586 of them are on the process of dying. 25% of our water sources are drying up, even as we speak. And they are dying because of climate change. We used to have good, healthy watersheds, and we could manage them well. But of the 530 sub-watersheds, 149 are already being degraded. This is going to have profound effects on Bhutan, on the 240 million people living in the Himalayas, and on the 1.4 billion, 1.6 billion people living downstream of the Himalayas. We must do something to protect water, to manage water, to manage the essence of life. We know what to do. And hence, the theme of this conference, bridging knowledge to action. As Her Royal Highness aptly put it, we must put this knowledge to decisive action. The time has come to value water. The effect of climate change is no longer vague, is no longer unrelatable. It is on water, it will affect water. And unless we manage water, we are playing with the very essence of life. We have the laws, but we need to keep them more relevant. And hence, the Wisdom Center for Justice. We need to improve on our laws, but more importantly, we need to implement our laws, ensure that our laws are implemented. Most importantly, we need to ensure that our people, all our people, but especially our youth, understand our laws and understand our constitutional responsibility to look after our environment. We need to protect water, for in doing so we protect life, not just human life, but the life of all sentient beings. And today, the only way we can protect water, to protect life, to nurture life, is to fight climate change through climate action. Individually, collectively as a country, and yes, foreign delegates, you are here, because we need to work together as one world. Thank you.